My main aim is really to live as normal a life as possible, as an otherwise healthy person would, to do all the things that I want to do. In other words, to not let it be a hindrance to my ambitions, really, to carry on as normal as I can do. I probably control it in a way that I'm happy with. It probably, if truth be told, could be controlled a lot tighter and a lot better. But I live with it as best I can, and I'm fallible, and I do make mistakes with it, and probably do run blood sugars that are too high. But I think you shouldn't be fretful about that. That happens, and you know, as we were saying about things happening on the spur of the moment, you know, some things will cause you maybe to have a late meal, or if the children are doing something at school and I have to pick them up later, and then we have our meal at 9 instead of 7, then we just fit it around, or I just fit it around that. I mean, you have to be conscious of what will happen when you're doing certain things. For instance, I go to aerobics and I do exercise classes quite a lot. And then you have to be conscious of how your treatment and the amount of food you eat may be affected by the class. So the way I deal with that is I normally go to the class and take the necessary glucose sweets with me, and I eat afterwards. So I have my evening injection and my meal afterwards, because when I've done it, the odd occasion I've done it the other way around and had my injection and eaten before I've gone, I've ended up going hypo sort of during the class. So for me, it's a decision I've made there, a conscious aim really, to be able to do the class and not go hypo. So I eat when I come home. Well, you have to choose one way, go with it and see what happens. And if you have a hypo, or if something, something goes wrong, and then the next time you try something else, maybe decrease the amount of insulin you take, or have extra snack. You juggle it like that. If something happens, like a hypo or something, then you have to look back at what you've done and adjust it accordingly. Wow. And you learn really by trial and error. The fear of what might happen to me if I don't at least try and keep it under good control. I mean, I think that is when you get Balance magazine and you read about complications, and sometimes you do have to admit that these things can happen to people, especially people who've had diabetes for quite a few years. And sometimes I'll get a conscience attack, think about things in the future, and then I'll have to have another look at it. But I'm not run by the fear. I think you sort of put that to the back of your mind. Otherwise you wouldn't do anything really, and you'd spend the whole time, 24 hours a day, trying to get immaculate control and never do anything really. It is flexible, and maybe after a period of time, when you become used to the treatment and used to the diet, that you have got the capacity to control it yourself by making adjustments to suit what your lifestyle is, or maybe what it's going to be if you change by taking up an activity or something like that. That it is something you can do yourself without necessarily having to see a consultant first. I mean, I think you have got to have a bit of confidence.